My name is Phil, last name Hogue, and I grew up in Pasadena area, and I currently reside in the Santa Clarita Valley. And I have 3 kids, and 2 are in college. 1 will soon be in college. Some of my personal interests recently, the wine bug has taken hold, and I love going to vineyards. Outside of that, I love being in Ventura, like on a day like today when it's so beautiful. Just general interest in antiques and going to concerts. A lot of the great classic musicians of the 60s and 70s are still rolling, so it's a lot of fun to look them up and enjoy their music still. I work for an ESOP company, and the interesting thing about that is everyone in our company is an employee owner, so it's like working with your family. We're a manufacturer in the technology area, and I'm actually the manager of the client services. Several years ago, my wife passed away of cancer, which made me sort of stop and think about things that I needed to plan for in the future, including the financial side for all of us in our family. Well, it's quite interesting. I'm a big fan of the radio. It's great to listen to information that people have to share. And in this case, I first got my exposure to you, Bruce, on what was KRLA. I believe they're still popular on the radio waves. And it was straight talk radio. And I listened to what you had to say and thought, there's a connection here. I get what he's saying, and what else do I need to know about those specifics? I think the thing that really got my attention was the aspects to most of us not having pensions. We all have IRAs, we have 401ks. We basically do the norm that most people do with their companies and their retirements. But there were other areas that you suggested that we should all look for as another means to plan our retirement, which was very intriguing. I think what I saw as a big difference from other experiences I've had with investment managers was more of a consultative approach of, here's what you need to study, do your homework. You can have different types of investments, but there's other avenues that perhaps you have not been introduced to that I can specifically show you the roadmap, but you need to do your homework and make sure that you understand exactly what these products and investment vehicles are and what they're going to do for you long term. Well, Bruce is very direct and factual with the specifics that we may be discussing, whether it's one product or another. He doesn't necessarily sway from one side to another as far as where you should invest, but it's more the aspect of here's what you need to look at as several options. You need to get educated and understand what these vehicles are going to do long term for you. And Bruce is very clear about you have to understand exactly what you're going to be investing in. And I want to make sure that if you don't understand, you ask me those questions so that we can make sure everything's clear up front. So honesty and just plain and simple terms, being quite frank about making sure before that I invest that I understand what I'm investing in. So that's important. I think many of the investment vehicles that Bruce has directed me to that I've invested long term, I can see clearly that in the years to come, I will look back and say it's the best thing that I ever did outside of other investment vehicles I had done prior to meeting Bruce. So forecasting the future, I don't have to worry as much as I have with other stocks and investments that I've done in the past that do fluctuate, whereas the products that Bruce introduced me to are more or less saying this is what the value is going to be future state. And it sort of takes the aspect of the guessing game, the stress, and all of those things that we worry about as investors out of the picture completely. At the end of the day, we know what the value of the specific investment's going to be 10, 20, 30 years from now versus not knowing. And that's the security aspect that I can appreciate, and I'm glad that I was introduced to by Bruce. I would say the full gamut, from my kids that are graduating from college soon, to someone who may be at the latter part of their career and planning retirement in the next 5 to 10 years. The product range and the offerings that Bruce has introduced me to can really assist many people in different age groups for short-term and long-term benefits.